Hello and welcome to the Astral Tourist, the show where we explore the astral planes and the many liminal strange spaces in between. In this episode, I recount a vivid astral projection from only a few nights ago where I found myself in a communication training program on an aquatic world, riding some wind currents and sipping from a very strange bowl of living soup. So get comfortable and let's venture into the great beyond. When I became lucid, I was already on another planet. Outside, there was a harsh wind, constant stormy and gusting. There were these super gusts, powerful ones, but they didn't last very long. They would go up a bit and then just out of nowhere be done and gone. Right out from under you. The sky was a medium gray, bright, but a heavy feeling to it. The terrain looked whitish and ivory colored with light gray sandy textures in with it. Light and dark sands mixed up together a bit. There were no trees, just wind. It actually resembled more of a desert world. At first I thought I was just on another one of these desert worlds. But the gravity felt lighter, and usually on desert planets it feels more heavy or more similar to Earth. But here it was lighter, maybe about 25% less than Earth's gravity. Everything felt a little bit suspended, like the atmosphere could lift you up off the ground if you would just allow it to. In the distance, there was a rectangular, modern-looking building made from a metallic gray material of some kind, perhaps steel or platinum or something, and glass. It had a lot of glass. So using 360-degree vision, looking around a bit more, I wore glowing white boots. I've noticed that I have these on sometimes when I'm doing a lot of flying. So it's an ongoing recurring theme. And also when I'm in a place where the gravity is different, I'll have special kinds of shoes. Sometimes they're like glowing ballet slippers or glowing white boots like these, or just platforms beneath my feet with no other things to hold them on. They're just kind of attached to me, I guess. Anyway, this time it was the glowing white boots. Also a gray plaid skirt, which is like nothing I would ever wear here in the physical. But I wear it sometimes in the astral. So that's one of my outfits in the astral. And a baggy whitish silver top, which is also another one of my outfits in the astral. And I do not actually have one here, but I wish I did because I love that top. I was showing someone how to ride the wind currents just for the fun of it. I couldn't really make them out. Things were just coming back into view for me. So I was just showing them the usual method for beginners, just make a small hop and let the gusts carry you and allow the gusts to do the work. And so that was working, and I would hold hands with whoever this was, and we'd make the little hop together and go up on the gusts. It was kind of like a game, like surfing on an invisible force. It was definitely a force, though, like I was saying, this place, very strong gusty winds. But we couldn't get up too high or even close to the upper atmosphere, as it was just too unstable. But still, it was pretty fun. Things were becoming more clear, but I was also becoming more tired at the same time. Now, keep in mind, I've been jet lagged, and I probably will be for about another week. So my energy is going to be going in and out like that. So I'm just happy I made it somewhere like this at all. As I became more tired, things were becoming more blurry again. But I was trying to hold on to my lucidity as much as I could so that I wouldn't pop back to my physical body. So one of the beings in the area guided me into the metallic glass building and showed me to a room with a bed that had white sheets and a white blanket of some kind on it. no distinct pattern, and it was all like lined in glass. So I could see out the hallways, I could see everywhere around. And so I was just in there, drifting in and out of awareness for what felt like, all I can say, is a long time. Remember, time is weird in the astral, so I didn't know if it was a few hours or a few days. I was hovering around in there. I do remember a man opened the door, because I had a door, and he opened the door really slowly. He had tannish golden hair. He just wanted to check on me and ask me a few questions. And he wanted to talk about something before I was going to wake up. But I couldn't make out most of what he was saying. It was garbled in my mind. Now remember, our minds are always translating our experiences and interpreting, as well as language. And when you're speaking different languages and you have different concepts, and then add tired on top of it, it's going to be a struggle. And so I was still just too tired. And I kept telling him I couldn't understand and I wish I could. I knew it was important, but I just couldn't grasp it. So I was out of consciousness again there for a while. And when my lucidity returned again, I overheard beings communicating telepathically about something called the 2-year program. So apparently I'd already been there for one of their full years. And remember, on other planets, years can mean different things, and the mind can interpret time differently in the astral anyway. So take the word year with a grain of salt, and, a day could be a year there, or in the astral, it could be more. But that's what I heard. They were talking about the 2-year program, and I'd already completed half of it before I had gotten too tired. So that made me sad because, I didn't even know I was enrolled in anything. And if I were, of course, I would want to finish, right? So they were trying to cheer me up about this, and someone brought me food, a gigantic glass bowl, a sparkling glass bowl, not crystal, just glass of fish soup. Now, when I looked into this bowl, I was amazed. The bowl was enormous and filled with live fish, beautiful, energetic koi and goldfish of all sizes were swimming around excitedly in this crystalline clear broth, probably at least, 30 of them or something like that. And the colors were so vivid. They were glowing with energy. And since I was in and out of awareness a bit, I'm not sure if this was like a psychological dream element, some kind of a test, since they were alive, or just, the normal cuisine on this aquatic world. Now, I've been on other water worlds where they do eat live food, so this would not be the first time I've seen something like this. And somebody nearby heard me thinking about all of this and telepathed over, "We know you eat fish on Earth." I just nodded, going along with it, even though I don't eat live fish. But, I didn't want to offend. I'm the visitor there. I'm the tourist. And so I very carefully sipped some of the broth, which was strangely cool, tingly, and my energy did feel better. And towards the bottom of the bowl, there was all of this wonderful seaweed, and I've had good luck on these water worlds eating seaweed before to get my energy back up in the astral. So I found all the seaweed I could at the bottom of the bowl, and I ate that and absorbed that. And I left enough liquid for the fish to keep on swimming. I did not consume any of those living fish, and they were too beautiful anyway. Oh my goodness. No way I was going to eat them. No. They're so beautiful. The koi. I've seen koi before in the astral, and if you ever have, if you astral project it, and you've been to like some of these aquariums and the mall worlds and things, always observe the gorgeous kois. Oh, they're so wonderful. But there was another creature in the soup too that looked something like a really small, oddly shaped shark. I couldn't quite make that one out, but I just avoided that. But I wasn't going after the fish anyway, right? Just the seaweed. So despite the mental haze, my energy did improve, and I was led to another room to meet the main instructor of the program. He wanted to talk with me before I woke up. He was thin, wore soft-looking pajamas, a soft robe over the pajamas. He had wispy white hair and a short beard. He asked how I liked the soup. I told him I appreciated the seaweed, but I don't eat live fish. He just smiled and took the bowl, saying he would return them to their various aquariums. So I guess they have quite a stock there. I don't know. It sounded like it. They're well stocked. So I took one last look at those fish just because the colors were so wonderful, like jewels swimming in the light. Then unexpectedly, a small crocodile leapt out of the bowl and zoomed right through the glass walls of the building and on outside. And I hadn't seen it in there before. Maybe that's what the little thing I thought was a shark was before that. I don't know. Or maybe that was in there with the shark. So I told him I didn't know that was in there, and I don't eat crocodile either. Again, he's just smiling at me and said not to worry about it. They'd take care of it. And outside, instantaneously, a large man appeared with 2 hyenas at his side. Not dogs, not wolves, not water-type beings or dragons, hyenas. These were 2 hyenas. I could see them really vividly and really well, and they were huge. And he telepathically screamed, "Ambush!" Now, this is not from my mind. I would never use that word. And the hyenas sprinted off to chase that little crocodile, which was quite small. So it felt like an intense reaction for such a small creature, because when he screamed like that, it vibrated everything. Everything. But clearly these little crocodiles, or whatever they really were, remembering our minds interpret things as well as they can, whatever this was taken very seriously there. So I do believe that the man that manifested like that was, what did we call it? Tulpa, I guess. Yes, a created being that the instructor man had already created, a pre-created being in the world there. Anyway, the instructor explained that the program I was enrolled in was primarily focused on communicating with their environment and their people. And of course I hadn't finished it, but I'd gotten halfway. And just then, the man I'd seen earlier with that wavy, golden, tannish hair came into the room with us. And he asked telepathically if he could show me some of their energy work. I agreed, so he gently came up behind me, touched my temples, and stretched some of my crown energy gently upward. It was subtle but really powerful. I could really feel it. And at the same time, he guided my head upward and my gaze and my attention mentally up through the glass ceiling toward the sky, through the clouds, because of course it was overcast, and he showed me their moon. Now, it was a little bit smaller than Earth's moon, and he said it appeared only rarely through their dense, thick atmosphere. So it had soft, cool-toned gray streaks across the surface, not really a lot of pit marks like ours has at all. A lot more gray than ours. Dim, but definitely visible, but not nearly as bright as our moon can be. And I don't know, it resonated deeply with me. It was really peaceful. So I bookmarked it in my memory as part of their astral ident. I thanked him for showing it to me. And before he or that primary instructor could share any more with me, I felt myself being pulled back, and I woke up. So that's the journey, a joyful ride on alien wind currents on a water world where I didn't get to see the water, just the desert part of it. But apparently they have large, large amounts of water there. I just didn't get to see them. A nourishing lesson in energy and communication, and a glimpse into a world both strange, somewhat barren, and deeply beautiful. Though the program isn't complete, I returned with a new clarity, vibrant impressions, and a deeper connection to the vastness beyond. We are not alone. And there are beings out there that just love to communicate just as much as we would like to communicate with them. If you enjoyed the episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and share it with other curious starseeds, wanderers, and souls. Also, please remember, if you like particular episodes and themes, I have many playlists, so check out my playlist section. Thank you for exploring with me. Lots of love to all. Lots of universal love, pan-galactic love, trippy love. Until next time, happy astral travels.